What up, everybody? We got another Playmates review from GXK or Godzilla X Kong. This one is going to be an interesting one. I'm actually particularly excited to take a look at this one. This one is, of course, Tiamat. Finally, Tiamat has her own toy. My first impressions of this figure was not the greatest, I will be honest. When I first saw the glams for this, I was like, really? That's the best they could do? Let's see if I still hold that same judgment, or perhaps things have changed. We shall see. This is the packaging it comes in. Standard 6-inch packaging. This is the class of the figure. You can see the submarine is tucked away at the back here behind the plastic. We got Tiamat with Submarine. So the Submarine is the accessory. We got our Godzilla and Kong render here. We got the same render with the movie logo. On this side, we've got the name just in different languages. At the bottom, we have all the other production info and all that, as well as the barcode. And then, of course, the back. The back is usually where it gets interesting because I notice with these new wave of figures, they have a specific description for every character, especially the new ones. So, Tiamat's here. Let me read it out. In this yellow box, the only one sentence here. It looks big because there's multiple languages. English is one sentence. Deep in the Arctic Ocean, the bioluminescent power of Tiamat pushes back the darkness to reveal intruders like the Monarch, Recon, Submarine. And then we got the movie synopsis up there. And then the list of the other figures here. So we got the OG list here, the Wave 1 stuff. Of course, reviewed all that already. Then we got Godzilla and we got Kong here. But there is no Mothra. They have not advertised Mothra on this packaging. That being said, that is everything for the packaging. So we can now open this and take a look at the Tiamat. Tiamat is out of the packaging, the way she came out of that iceberg. Her design looked great in the comics, and I think Adam Wingard translated her into the movie very well. But I think for a lot of hardcore MonsterVerse fans, it was definitely a pleasure just to see Tiamat translated into a live-action form. Granted, she only appeared like, what, 20 seconds on screen before getting horribly killed off by Godzilla? But in those few 20 seconds, I think she definitely shone. When she came out of the iceberg, and I saw like that transparent purple glowy color scheme going on, I was like, damn, that actually looks pretty sick. You can see why I was kind of bewildered when I saw the glam for this figure, because I was like, really? This is the best Playmates could come up with? First of all, they kept the purple, but I don't recall a single bit of like blue-green, whatever this color is supposed to be. I think it's called blue-green. And her fins are definitely not yellow. If I put her face right here, and here is the photo from the movie, side-by-side comparison, do you really see the same resemblance? You might think this is like Tiamat's brother or something. It's not terrible though. I think the only gripe I have is quite literally the colors that they went with. Because other than that, the figure has a pretty solid design. And the accessory that comes with the figure, of course, is the Submarine, which honestly, it looks much bigger than I thought. I mean, we have gotten a lot of vehicle accessories from Playmates before. The Submarine one's definitely interesting. I mean, I've gotten the drones from the Energized Godzilla. We've gotten a bunch of the fighter jets before. Submarine is definitely new. And it's, you know, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a black color scheme, singular color scheme. That's pretty much it. You don't need to expect much from it. But just know this is included. It's not terrible, but it's nothing special. That's my point. So, with that out of the way, let us look at the figure itself. Because for starters, I do want to compare the sizes. Now, this figure is in the so-called 6-inch category, so she is regular size, good for affordability, and of course, playability. I mean, I'll get to the articulation in a second, but this figure does offer quite a bit of playability. But size-wise, let's pitch her against Godzilla. Of course, this is literally the Godzilla that fights her. She's just as big as Godzilla. In terms of length, she's about the same. That's really all I can compare it with. You know, in the scene, she does like wrap her entire body around Godzilla in attempt to suffocate him. So yeah, it's actually quite scale accurate. The scaling is pretty sick. I think the colors was the only thing they kind of messed up on, because the articulation itself and in terms of the actual details, they actually look really nice. Let's start off at the tail here. So the tail has like 3 different colors happening. So at the very tip, we got the purple, but then it transitions back into the blue-green color, and then it fades into a bit of purple. So that is pretty much purple. All of the spikes here is purple. And then throughout her main body, it's like mainly purple, but it also has the fading of the blue-green slightly in the background. You can kind of see it. So it's not like completely purple. It's just a highlight in the background. That's what they're trying to go with her. But her legs are completely blue-green. They're completely blue-green, even with the little fin details at the end. Color-wise, I wouldn't say it's messy, actually. I just think the blue-green just isn't lore accurate. But if you look at the bottom here, this is where it gets kind of messy. Purple here, but then like rest here is like blue-green. And then it kind of fades into a little bit of white from her front neck all the way up to her head, to her chin. So a little bit of inconsistency there, or maybe that's intentional, I'm not sure. But while the colors, I will say, is a little messy, the texture really shines. Like her main, I don't know what to call these. Are these fins? We'll just say fins. She's kind of like a serpent, sea serpent creature. And the fins here are very nice. The texturing is that these are obviously a bit flimsy. These are softer plastic, but they really stand out, and I really like that. And it only gets better here with her head, because she has a lot of these whiskers. We'll just call these whiskers or antennas or whatever. These are very loose, so these could be fragile. Handle with care, but these whiskers are pretty nice. They add the details very, very well. And you can see in terms of the whiskers, you have, you know, the green, and then it fades into the yellow. So very simple transition of color there. And you can see on top of her forehead, it's just mainly the blue-green color. And then her fin, of course, her like head fins, main fins, call them what you will, completely yellow. And then her face, also, top of her head is like blue-green, which of course, not really lore accurate. You can see she has eyes. At least they went with eyes. She has eyeballs. That is good. And then at the bottom, her chin down here, she has a little bit of spikes as well. That is also yellow. And then when you open her mouth, you know, she's got the tongue, pink tongue. So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. Like the colors is not lore accurate, but it's not terrible. It's not terribly misplaced. But one thing I really appreciate is the playability on this figure. For starters, you saw already the mouth can open and close, so that's already good. You know, she can, you know, do her roar, take a bite or something, try to bite Godzilla, do what you will. But she has a lot of articulation throughout her entire body and the legs, because she is like a serpent-like creature, so there is a lot of room for posability. First and foremost, her head here, you can see ball socket. So you can pretty much rotate this all the way around. That's very nice, super flexible. And then she has one ball joint, first ball joint here on her body, which you can also sort of, yeah, no, not even sort of. You can fully turn all the way around. Ball joint is super flexible, which is great because when you're trying to create underwater swimming poses or something, like she's swimming in the water, it works because you can just manipulate the way her body moves around very, very well. Like look at that. That is so detailed. It literally looks like she is like a serpent in the water. Sometimes I even forget that she has legs. Sometimes I just think, oh, she's just straight up sea serpent. That's it, no legs. She has legs, guys, but that is sick. So that's one point of articulation over here. Second ball joint is here, super flexible as well. It's kind of like in the middle between firm and loose. It's like right in the middle point, so it's firm enough that the pose will hold if you leave it. It won't like fall back on itself, but it's also loose, so you can actually rotate it very easily, no problem. At the back here, another ball socket here. Super flexible. I love this. This is so flexible. And at the same thing at the tail here, like there is no limits. There is no restrictions put on this figure. The articulation is so flexible, unlike a lot of other Playmates figures. You can pretty much pose this figure to however you want. And it works. let's say you're trying to do some photography for this figure, and you want to make some underwater shots, or quote-unquote underwater shots. Look at that. That literally looks like she's swimming. Is that not? Like gliding in the water. That is so good. And if you want her to stand on her 4 legs, it is actually sometimes a bit annoying to, you know, get the legs posed like this, but it's not impossible. Just do that, and there you go. That's not my best attempt, but it is what it is. And of course, as I mentioned, the legs themselves have articulations, so you can see there is a socket here, back legs as well, socket here, and socket there. Like, that is just so good in terms of playability. A child playing this is gonna have a blast because the possibilities is not endless, but very flexible, and they're not limited to, oh, you can only put her in this pose or this pose. Maybe it's just because of how she's built, who she is, a sea serpent titan. I am actually not too disappointed with this. Like, I honestly went in with the expectation of I'm gonna be disappointed. When I ordered this figure, I didn't really think much about it. I just said, oh, let's just get this done for the sake of the review. Like, I wasn't gonna say this is gonna be a very solid figure, but I take that all back. I think I was proven wrong. I really appreciate what Playmates has done. If only they could make it a little bit more lore accurate, messing with the colors a little bit, and actually have more of the glowy purple color like we see in the comics and in the movie, I think that would be even better. It's good now, but it can be even better if they do that change. That's the only bit of criticism I have for this figure. Other than that, I am super impressed with what we got here. Playability is off the charts. No complaints from me about that. And the submarine accessory, it is what it is. Just gonna be honest, not everyone's gonna care about it. But I would definitely recommend buying this Tiamat. If you don't care about the accuracy of how she looks like, you just want a sick toy, a sick Tiamat figure, go and buy this thing. 100% go to your Walmart, which I actually have spotted this figure at Walmart. That's pretty much all I have to say for Tiamat here. Overall, I'm super impressed. Good job, Playmates, and I will give her a solid 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button, subscribe. I have compared her with the Energized Godzilla in this video, so if you want to see the review for that one, click the link in the description or at the end of this video when the end screen pops up. As for now, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.